Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and distinguished guests. Thank you for all allowing me to put together the Clan Forbes Ancestry Tour for 2022. I know the last couple of years have been challenging for everyone, and I hope that you're getting excited about the tour coming to fruition this year. You can see on the screen we have all of the key details of the tour, including the pricing. For anyone who is planning on arriving early into Aberdeen, it truly is a wonderful city to spend a little time in. A city, you know, where the ships dock right up against the city centre streets, and occasionally you can see those dolphins leap in the busy North Sea harbour. It is regarded as one of the most architecturally distinctive in Europe. Should you need any advice, assistance for your pre-time in Aberdeen, just feel free to reach out. I'd be more than delighted to help. We are offering a pre-tour night for August 21 at the Chester Hotel. Pricing is £130 per person, and that will include your accommodation, breakfast and drinks reception and canopies that evening. This will allow you to meet the rest of the guests on the tour. The package includes your 6 nights accommodation, daily breakfast, dinner your first night at Meldrum House, afternoon tea at Culloden House, and a picnic lunch at the Lonnock Gathering. The hotels we have selected, and you can see from the pictures here, they're all wonderful properties, will be Meldrum House in Old Meldrum, the Downs Hotel in Aberlour, and the Chester Hotel in Aberdeen. Your guide for the duration of the tour will be Lord Semple. He is indeed a wonderful authority, not only on Forbes ancestry, but on Scotland in general. And he has an amazing sense of humour, so I'm sure he'll keep you all well entertained. The coach company has updated us that all COVID restrictions have been lifted currently, but we will follow this as we roll forward. With regards to flights, you have many options how you can come into Scotland. If you're coming to do some time prior to the Forbes tour, then you may want to be coming into Glasgow or Edinburgh. Depending on what you're looking to do, if you're on a drive-in tour, you can end up in Aberdeen. If you're in Edinburgh, maybe taking in a performance of the tattoo or some other things like that in the city, then you can take the train up to Aberdeen. I do advise that everybody does get to Aberdeen that day before the tour starts, because the tour will be setting off early in the morning. It's not a great idea just to arrive in the day of the tour, just in case you're delayed. And of course you can, from most US destinations, you can fly straight into Aberdeen. On the last day of the tour, once you finish up at Lonnock Gathering and overnight at the Chester Hotel, then we do recommend, if you're finished touring Scotland, that you depart out of Aberdeen. Once we have everybody's flight details, we will look at group transfers to take everybody back to the airport in plenty of time for their flights home. If you're looking to spend more time in Scotland, again, we would be more than delighted to help. We will now go through the details of the tour itself. So as you can see, the first couple of days, we're going to be exploring in depth your Forbes ancestry. We have 5 castles and a glorious tomb on the agenda for you. That first day on tour will be August 22nd, and you will leave the granite city of Aberdeen behind and begin your immersion into the rich heritage of Clan Forbes and the Aberdeen region. Clan Forbes is indeed castle rich, and as mentioned, over the next couple of days we are going to cover quite a few of them. Your first stop will be at Drumanore Castle, the original Castle Forbes and the headquarters of the Lord Forbes of that ilk for 500 years. The current castle owner is Alex Forbes, the Clan Forbes historian, and he will be leading you through his home, recounting stories of the Forbes' famous feuds, in particular with neighbouring Clan Gordon. Their rivalry began way back in the 12th century, so believe me, there is much to share. Then it's off to Castle Forbes, the seat of the clan chief. These estate lands were granted to Sir Alexander Forbes in 1411 for his part in the defeat of Donald of the Isles at the Battle of Harlaw. This castle has served for over 200 years as the headquarters of the Chief of Clan Forbes, and it is the spiritual home for Clan Forbes members throughout the world. You will be privileged to enjoy a tour and reception of this remarkable home with Malcolm, the 23rd Lord Forbes, the Premier Lord of Scotland. Your accommodation tonight will be Meldrum House, and this will be your home for the next couple of nights. Be sure to check out the many portraits of both Clan Forbes and the Clan Gordon members on display at this property, and have a wonderful time maybe sampling some of those unique whiskies in the cave bar. On the second day, we'll be heading out to explore some more of those castles. The first being Tyrone Castle. It now is in ruins, but it was once one of the most beautiful in Scotland. The castle was built around the original defence tower dating back to 1420 and was a noble residence for some 300 years. It was Sir William Forbes, the 7th Lord of Tyrone, who built the castle we see today. When work was completed in 1589, Tyrone was really a fine residence for William and his wife Elizabeth. A stop will be made at the nearby parish church in Tarvis, where Sir William had an ornate memorial for himself and his wife built. It is one of the best examples of Scotland's so-called glorious tombs of the Jacobean age. The details include the Forbes coat of arms and 2 carved figures representing William Forbes and his wife Elizabeth Gordon. We then continue on to Pitsligo Castle, one of the 9 ancient castles of what we call the Knuckle. The Knuckle is a promontory between the Moray Firth and the North Sea. This was the home of the Forbes of Pitsligo for over 3 centuries. After the 1746 Stuart defeat at Culloden, the Crown seized the Pitsligo estate and declared Alexander, the 4th Lord Forbes of Pitsligo, an outlaw. Our last castle visit today will be Fyvie. Enjoy its amazing collection of antiquities, armour and lavish paintings. This impressive turreted building was transformed by the Preston, the Meldrum, the Gordon and Forbes Leith families over a period of 800 years. This property and its contents is now in the hands of the National Trust of Scotland. Today we head out to the beautifully pink Craigievar Castle with its turrets, gargoyles and high corbelling, said to be the inspiration for Walt Disney's Cinderella Castle. The castle was completed in 1626 by William Forbes of Many. From then, it had been lived in by the Forbes and Forbes Semple family until gifted to the National Trust of Scotland in 1963. In the arched door to the round tower are preserved the carved initials of Sir Thomas Forbes, William Forbes' son. The interior boasts a collection of Forbes family portraits, as well as a considerable quantity of Forbes furnishings, dating to the 17th and 18th centuries. Once we leave Craigievar Castle, we will be continuing on to the Speyside Cooperage. It is the only working cooperage in the UK where you can experience that ancient art of coopering. Enjoy the journey through the life cycle of the cask. The origins of the cooper's craft goes back to prehistoric times, over 5,000 years ago. These highly skilled coopers still use many of these traditional age-old skills to restore and repair tired and damaged casks. Oak is the only wood that can be used for casks, as it prevents seepage whilst allowing the contents to breathe. And as you can imagine, we don't want to lose too much of the good stuff. The quality and the flavour of good whisky depends on the water used, the barley and the distillation process, and of course the cask in which it matures for at least 3 years. The coopers are indeed masters of this craft and the keepers of our heritage. Our final stop today will be at the Glen Distillery, the oldest legal distillery in the parish of Glen. It was founded in 1824 and has operated ever since, with only one stop during World War II. Enjoy the story, the samplings, which all starts with that special water from Josie's well. Today we head out to Elgin. And here we have many wonderful options for you to choose from in the morning. So one of the options would be to visit the Gordon Mcfail retail shop and whisky room, which has a fantastic array of indulgent hand-finished chocolates, cheeses, and the whisky room with over 1,000 different single malts. For over 125 years, Gordon Mcfail has been driven by a simple mission, the pursuit of perfection, to create single malt whiskies of exceptional quality. Your second choice would be to experience Johnson's of Elgin and learn how Vicuna is used to make cashmere. There are in the region of 30 different processes involved in transforming the raw fibre into luxurious Johnson's of Elgin finished products. The cashmere, merino, lambswool and Vicuna production is the work of artisans, based on centuries of innovation. With COVID restrictions being lifted, we're still waiting on the details of their mill tours, and I will keep you updated on that as we roll forward. If you are interested in spending your time there and want to do the mill tour, then we probably will have a sign up list just so that we can ensure that everybody gets to do the thing they want to do. The shop and cafe will of course be open for you to enjoy as well. Your third choice would be to visit Elgin Cathedral. It's also known as the Lantern of the North and one of Scotland's most imposing medieval buildings dating back to the 13th century. It was badly fire damaged in 1390, but the two towers of the west front and the chapter house are intact and open to the public, and the climb is definitely rewarding with magnificent views over the town of Elgin. The top of the tower has an open viewing platform with information boards highlighting the visible landmarks. You can also view Elgin Cathedral's impressive collection of more than 100 medieval stones in the new light. This exhibition puts the stones on public display for the first time in 20 years, and among the highlights is the effigy of Bishop Archibald, brought back to its former glory with the stunning light effects. Our next stop will be to the haunting battlefield of Culloden. The visitor centre is amazing and super informative. It does have a Jacobite exhibition, immersive living history tour, graves, of course, the graves of the clans, and the memorial cairn erected in 1881 by Duncan Forbes of Culloden. You will stand on the field where the last battle fought on British soil took place on April 1746. In less than just 1 hour, the battle was over, as were the hopes of the Jacobite cause to restore the House of Stuart to the throne of Great Britain. Our final stop today will be for afternoon tea at Culloden House. In 1625, Gray, Duncan Forbes, purchased the house from the Mackintosh chief, and there began the almost 300-year history of the Forbes lairds of Culloden. In 1746, Culloden House was commandeered by the Jacobite forces under Bonnie Prince Charlie. The estate was pillaged by the Jacobite forces before their devastating defeat in the 1746 Battle of Culloden. Enjoy a behind-the-scenes tour of the house before we head back to the Dowens Hotel for your overnight stay. Today we actually head out to Inverness. It is regarded as the capital of the Highlands and featured in the books and TV series Outlander, which I'm sure you're all familiar with. You will have a private tour of the Highland Archives Centre, which maintains an array of Forbes family records and documents. You can choose to conduct some ancestral research there, and then we will head into Inverness, where you will have time on your own to explore the city. Our next stop will be Loki Steadings in the beautiful Finton Valley. Loki Steadings is home to a select shopping village and visitor centre which lies in the heart of the estate. The village includes artisan businesses, an acclaimed cafe and the Loki House Gardens, definitely worth a walk through. And we do believe that you probably need a little retail therapy here and find something nice to take home with you. Our very last stop today is at the Knockandoo Woolen Mill. It was first listed as a walk mill in 1784, and you will receive a guided tour. Learn about the unique collection of Victorian machinery, including their 1899 Doughcross loom. Knockandoo Wool Mill has ensured the craft of carding, spinning and weaving with local wool, which has definitely been passed down through the generations. That heritage is represented in their tweeds, fresh contemporary designs and classic woolen blankets that you again will have that opportunity to purchase if you desire. And since we're keeping everything Forbes, we do have a Sarah Jane and Alan Forbes who actually run the local sheep farm. They breed a specific variety of Cheviot sheep, and the wool from those sheep does actually supply the woolen mill. I do believe some of those sheep sometimes escape and like to pop over to the woolen mill too. We'll see if any pop in to visit us when we're there. We continue on now to day 6, and this is really your final day on tour. It will be an amazing day, and depending on timing and interest, there is the opportunity to visit Castle number 7, which would be Corgaff Castle. It was built in the mid-16th century by Forbes of Towie. This was the site of the tragic murder of Mistress Margaret Campbell Forbes and her daughters by Adam Gordon, as related in the ballad Edo McGordon. After the Jacobite risings of the 18th century, it was rebuilt as a barracks and actually once held a whisky distillery. The rest of the day we're going to devote to the Clan Form's own Lonnock Gathering Games, the friendliest Highland games in Scotland. The Lonnock Highland and Friendly Society was founded in 1823 by Sir Charles Forbes, 1st Baronet of Newian in Edenglass, and we will supply lunch and refreshments at the games. I'm not sure what that format might be yet, but we're still working on if it'll be a box lunch or there'll be tickets for you to go to some of the food vendors. So again, we'll keep you posted on that. This will be a wonderful opportunity for you to engage in this very local event, make new friends, and maybe even find a new family member or two. The Lonnock Pipe Band will sound the retreat round about 5:30. Then you will head back to Aberdeen for your very final night in the Chester Hotel. We've now come to the end of the tour, and after breakfast you will have that opportunity to say bye to your fellow travellers, your new friends and acquaintances before we whisk you off to Aberdeen Airport. Once we have everybody's flight details, we will be looking at group transfers or individual transfers, all depending on when you need to be at the airport. For those that are going to continue on, if there's anything we can do to assist with those additional arrangements, we'd be more than glad to help you with that. Our last slide here, as you can see, is all of our contact information. The tour is actually currently full. However, we are taking a waiting list just in case some people need to drop out. If you have any questions or you need any more information, please feel free to give us a call at 925-303-4008 or email us at info@thistledubh.net. I do have one final video to share with you, and this really is for those who are still considering how much time they want to spend in Scotland, pre and post. I hope this does inspire you. We'd be delighted to help you stay longer in Scotland, so let me know and please enjoy.